What if I told you there's a world out there with the most beautiful gleaming colors? A world full of mesmerizing treasures where you find joy and purity and abundance. What if I told you that you could find an endless universe within yourself? Are you ready for a journey? Then come with us and discover the colors of the universe.
Welcome to the Colors of the Universe here on Ascension Radio Studio 3. I'm your host, Evie, and today my guest is Prism Sovereign. Hi, Prism.
Hello, Evie.
How are you today?
I am feeling beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, I think many people at the moment are not doing so beautiful, and I hope we can lift them up a bit with our show today. We have very difficult times right now. I think it's no secret. My Facebook feed is full of just that one word that I don't want to additionally mention because I think this word is being spread enough, and I think we need to spread other words and words that will help to give more faith and more light into our lives. I see a lot of panic, a lot of worries and concerns. And I read a lot from every direction or from all kinds of directions. So in the end, I'm like, okay, I just stay faithful. I don't know what is really true or how much of what I'm reading here right now is true and how much is just a part of deception that we have in this world, you know? So, yeah, what are your thoughts? Can you give our audience a bit of hope?
Well, I would say that it all comes down to choice. The particular word you're talking about, I call it the F word that starts with F and ends with R. That's the one you're talking about, right?
I'm talking about the C word that ends with S. I'm talking about the main word that you see everywhere at the moment.
Oh, okay. So I had condensed all of that and put it into a different word, which is FEAR, right?
Oh, yeah, that would that would actually bring it to the point. Yes.
Okay, so um, as I was saying, I feel it's choice. It's all choice. There are a lot of different things being spread, absolutely, but we always do find a way to see through uh, to what is real. And I believe that comes through trust, like you said, faith, right? Um, and I would say it's self-trust, trusting ourselves that what we feel is what is true.
Yeah, just go on.
Oh, okay. Um, so when I say feelings, I mean what we feel in our bodies, what we feel in our hearts, what feels in flow. Anytime that we feel like we've got a block, that's not actually in flow. And so that's showing us that there's something that is untruthful there. So the faith and the trust go hand in hand, but it's all in the way that we view ourselves to be able to discern within our bodies, within that energetic flow. As long as we don't, as long as we don't simply go with the flow that everyone else is projecting onto us, and we continue to feel our own flow through it, I know that we'll all be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the question is just how can we deal with what is in the moment? what, how can we deal with the things that are happening at the moment, even though we may know that everything will be all right, but still at the moment it's pretty chaotic, you know? What could you tell those people who know everything will be all right, but right now it looks pretty much not all right?
Well, there is this expression, it's always darkest before the dawn. And this is a full cleanup that the divine feminine energy is doing across the planet right now. And that is kind of challenging for us to truly grasp the magnitude and the beauty of what is truly happening right now. But there are different levels of consciousness, and we spoke a little bit about consciousness in the past on the other shows we did. And people are in a different level of consciousness. Each individual is in their own conscious space. So what some may perceive to be a really bad thing, others may prefer to be ripping off the Band-Aid so that you can, let the wound breathe and heal. It's all within the human perspective. We all are making these connections in our minds right now, and they're overriding our heart connections because we've got the reptilian brainstem in the back of the skull, connected to the spine and into the brain, and that's our fight or flight that is kicking in with all of the things that are being said to us on the media and whatnot. A lot of people are falling into default programming. So the programming that they're used to, the fear, shame, guilt, competition, the belief that all is a struggle, these sorts of things. And we can choose the reality that we want if we can see that clearly enough to do it. It really is choice. It really is up to the individual. There's the whole saying, of course, as well, things could always be worse. And we cannot imagine how bad really things could actually be with this sort of pandemic, they're calling it. And I laugh because I saw a little joke. There's just a little meme about it and said, it's not a pandemic, it's a dem panic, the Democrats and whatnot. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. It was so funny. But there are agendas that people have been trying to slide into place. And I believe that love conquers all, and that love will always conquer all. And no matter how difficult or bad things may seem to be, it's very important that we realize we still are sovereign. We still are the ones who make the choices and the decisions for ourselves as to what our realities are going to be like. I mean, we could be on the street if we have a house, if we have some food, if we have some toilet paper. Sorry.
Yeah, some.
Sorry.
Some have more, some have less. We have a hose though.
Oh, exactly. We if we focus on the gratitude, by focusing on the gratitude, we can see the cup as half full instead of half empty. for those who have family members who are actually physically in danger, either from the 5D radiation, which accelerates the coronavirus, or the coronavirus itself, which can be accelerated in very cold areas, or for people with existing health conditions or lung conditions, then we send out compassion, we send out love, we blanket them with that, and we put our focus on that so that they can feel and be lifted above what they are going through. This is of course one perspective, right? This is one way of looking at things. It's not really the way the whole world is looking at things right now, but it's a way to support each other, and in supporting each other, we are truly supporting ourselves. So there is nothing to truly be afraid of. It's all within perspective, and this too shall pass, like everything else has. If we are to actually look at the stats on the coronavirus and the actual death toll or the actual infection toll, we would see that it's far less than the common flu. And there is very, very little for us to be truly afraid of. Also, dropping our vibrations to fear can weaken our immune system. So laughing, smiling, hugging, and some people might be like, oh, put some sanitizer on before you hug me. That's fine. Do it. That's cool. But things like that will really boost our immune system, and the fear really works against us in all ways, especially within the collective, and what it does to lower the immune system. I'll stop there. I want to hear you.
Yeah. So I have different thoughts. On the one hand, I see it exactly like you, and then I have additional thoughts that I still question a lot because there's just so much information with so many different perspectives, and in the end, we can really only trust ourselves or trust our divine part in us, and trust in the source. And so I find it really tricky. I mean, even for myself, when I hear a lot, read a lot, I just try to conquer my own fear, because I might be not the most fearful person, but still I feel it coming up sometimes. So I still have to control this fear within me that is coming up, because I don't know if it's my own fear or if I'm actually just picking up on the energy that's everywhere. But I was talking to a friend who said the same, that the past days, so even the past weeks, she has more tension in herself. She is more nervous or anxious, and has less patience, gets easily upset. And I think people are also reacting to that energy that is everywhere. And this energy is just not very good at the moment. So I try to control that within me and give myself faith and more trust, so that I can spread this energy. But it is difficult sometimes. Like today, was kind of a rough day because we have to make decisions. We have to foresee things somehow, or we have to just plan ahead and organize because there is family or beings we want to take care of. So if I was just on my own, or if I was just with my partner, then I think I would find it less difficult. But because we take care of friends, family, or animals, etc., I think more than twice about some things. And also, I think about the neighborhood and do they have everything that they need? What could they need maybe? How can I tell them, hey, maybe you can get some supplies without causing them to panic? You know, I think many around you have supplies, but yeah, how is their energy? Because as you said, the fear is a big part of catching whatever illness. So I just want to inspire or motivate the audience. Try to find positivity in your day, and even when there's a quarantine, maybe make a list in advance of things that give you joy, whether it's a board game or a talk with your friends or just a good book or a hot bath. I mean, whatever makes you happy, maybe make a list so that on days that you don't feel well, because sometimes it's just stressful, these situations, and the energy is stressful. So sometimes a prepared list can actually help to remind yourself. And maybe on the list you have things that you haven't done in a long time, because we're so busy doing so important things all the time, like scrolling through our Facebook feed, that we sometimes forget really valuable things, like looking into the other person's eyes for more than a second, or meditating, praying, or to cook a really nice meal with lots of joy and pleasure so that you have all the good energy in that meal, and then you just take your time to eat it and just relax without getting distracted by Facebook or YouTube videos, etc. Because I do that too. I have phases where I don't do that and tell myself, no, 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 I will just eat and breathe. That's enough action. But then life happens, and I'm like, oh, but this video, it looks so interesting. I need to watch it while I'm eating, because then it makes the video even more interesting and it makes my food taste better. It's just I mean,
Oh my God.
that's that's how we do it. I think I'm not alone with that. So
Oh
yeah, I
no.
mean, um, so yeah, maybe just prepare yourself, also mentally for whatever may happen. And as you say, this shall pass, and it will. So I really have no clue at this point. I try to be organized and prepared, and but I also want to be mentally prepared or emotionally prepared, so that on a difficult day that I can still stay calm, and maybe even offer stability to others who don't stay calm. Because I think that is so important, that you are prepared in a way that you still find the joy within you, or at least some form of peace, and that you can connect yourself to the source and to the divine in you. So yeah, what do you say?
Well, I love so many of the things you said because I could feel how many people were thinking and feeling the same things. I know we're not live right now, but that collective energy is there. And when we tap in, we can, we can feel those vibrations. And I think you said a lot of things that people are thinking, but would it be okay if I tell you a story?
I'm not sure which story will come now. Will it be a nice, happy ending story, or will it be a horror story?
Oh no, 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 no. No, nothing negative.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what will come now, so so I guess I just say yes.
Okay, so I would like to tell you a story about you. So I'll start. It won't be very long, but it's a perspective, and I want it to be about you, so that when you respond to how this story made you feel, there will also be others walking through the story with us, and we'll see if they got the same feeling. We'll see what feeling comes from it. So Evie has decided that she's going on a vacation. Now, this is a vacation that she didn't know she was going on. It was kind of last minute. So she didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it. She wasn't even told exactly what to pack. And she was a little confused. And she knew that where she was going was a place where they might not have a lot, and it might be a little bit difficult, but she knew that she was needed there. And so Evie decided to take out her suitcases, and she packed everything she could as best she could with what she knew of where she was going. And then all of a sudden, she got a news report from where she was going. And there were a lot of things that were coming from that news report. They were saying that some people there might be sick. They were saying that there were some issues with the government. They were saying some kind of negative stuff about where Evie was going. But Evie didn't have a choice. She'd already set up someone to look after the place, and she knew that she was going to need to go to the place where the vacation was planned for her. So she got on the plane, and she landed in a country that was very different than anything she'd really experienced before. But there were some things that were really similar. And she saw some people that were very clearly excited about something. And then she saw other people that were very clearly distraught about things. And she was not sure what to do. Where she was staying, she was safe and she was comfortable. And there were some of her friends that had also come on this vacation with her that weren't too far away. And she was confused, and her friends were confused. And what she noticed is that some of her friends took the side of the negative people. And they said, oh, this is such an awful place. This is happening with government, and that is happening with government. And people might not have food. People might not have water soon. And then there were the other friends who said, I heard something amazing is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be here to see it. But they didn't know exactly what it was. All they knew is that it felt really good. And Evie was confused. She didn't know who to believe. She didn't know whether she wanted to fall into the negative bunch or she wanted to fall into positive, excited bunch. So she walked back to the simple little place they were staying. She sat down in a chair and she closed her eyes. And she took a few deep breaths. And she started paying attention to how she felt. Was she hungry? No, she was full. She felt good, health-wise. Was she tired? A little bit because she'd been stressed, but no, she felt pretty good. Was she comfortable? Yes, there was nothing painful or causing her discomfort. And as she sat there, she slowly started feeling her mind quieting more and more and more. And she felt all of the consciousness slowly sliding down and finding itself in her heart. And she sat there and she put her hands over her heart and she leaned back in the chair. And slowly but surely, a beautiful smile crept across her face as she felt all of the wonderful energies that were truly there now coming to a peaceful place of source sovereignty within her. And she was able to take a few more breaths. And when she opened her eyes, the room had gotten darker. And all of a sudden, she heard a knock at the door. And she slowly got up and she walked to the door, and she still had a little grin on her face, and her whole body felt lit up. And she seemed peaceful and happy and joyful. And then she opened the door, and one of her friends who'd taken the negative side rushed in and said, "Oh, you'll never believe what happened. You'll never believe what happened. They're going to do all of these negative things. They're going to lock down the country. Nobody's going to be able to go in and out. We won't be able to go home." And the friend went on and on and on. And suddenly, Evie felt like something was wrong. She started to feel anxious and frustrated again. But because she'd been in such a peaceful place prior to her friend visiting her, she could feel that what was happening didn't feel good. So she did her best to be compassionate and empathetic toward her friend and gave her friend a hug and said, "It's all going to be okay. I think I'm going to get some rest now." And her very anxious friend left. And now Evie felt very anxious again, and she didn't like the way that she felt. Then there was another knock at the door, and another friend came in, and this friend was smiling and gave Evie a hug right away and said, "Evie, the most amazing things are about to happen. Would you mind if I sit here with you for a moment? I want to be with somebody that I can feel this with, because you always have such a beautiful, soft, inspiring, loving energy, and I would like to share this with you because I don't like the way that I'm feeling around a lot of the other people. I feel anxious." And because Evie had been feeling that way only seconds before, she welcomed her friend and the positive, loving energy from her friend. And suddenly, Evie knew exactly what she wanted. because now she felt good, and the anxiety had drifted away, and there was peace again and harmony. And so the friend and Evie had a little chat, and then the friend said, I think I'm going to go get some rest now. And the next morning, all of the friends got together. And it was very clear there were different energies between all of them. And the ones who had been anxious seemed as though they were actually getting physically ill. And the ones who had been excited about the changes, the positive changes that were happening in the country, seemed to be happy and lively and doing very well. Evie didn't have a hard time making up her mind exactly how she felt after that, because the truth was she wanted to focus on what felt good. She wanted to focus on the energy that put others at ease and brought about peace and harmony. And when all of the friends returned from their trip, they learned that this crisis situation that they had experienced in the other country was now everywhere, was across the entire globe. And once again, they were all faced with a situation. Evie had made up her mind, no matter what anyone said or what happened, as long as she could close her eyes and go back to that place of peace and trust and faith in that positivity and that good feeling, she was going to be okay. And eventually everything cleared up, everything got better, and things all over the world became magnificent. Money was distributed from the governments. Taxes were lowered exponentially. People had more than enough money to co-create whatever they wanted to co-create in society. And the world became a beautiful, loving place. And because of Evie's experience, she was actually able to work with the people who were still struggling and saying to themselves every day, oh, this can't be real. This isn't really happening. Oh, it won't last. Evie was one of the ones who was able to work with them and explain her experience. And through that, she was able to provide a safe space of healing for many of the ones who were still struggling with their fears. And so this is the story of Evie and how she learned how to get through this experience and how she was able to overcome and choose for herself through her faith and through her trust in herself and what she felt. She was able to choose what felt the best and the most appropriate for her, and how she was able to use that experience to support others. The end.
Thank you for that. That was a really cute story. It actually reminded myself of thoughts I have when I'm in a good mood. The thoughts that we make good decisions in a good mood. or in a good state of mind. Let's put it like this. Because sometimes when we say we have a good mood, and then we might be a bit over optimistic. So yeah, when we have, or when we are in a good state of mind, then we make good decisions. When our mind is clear, we make decisions. Yeah, so that was a really nice story. Although me and last minute doesn't happen too often unless other people need me to do something last minute, but which happens, it happens. So I really had to learn here to be more spontaneous. I'm still not really spontaneous, but I had to learn to be more spontaneous than I would like to be. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's good for something. You cannot always be prepared. Sometimes you just have to let go and trust. And yeah, but your story reminded me of some thoughts that I have when my mind is clear after it was very cloudy. And then when I make a good decision, then I realize, oh, I stressed out about this so much. And actually, the secret is don't stress yourself out about it. Come into a good place first. Calm down inside and be centered and feel your heart and feel good before you make a decision, if you have the time, of course. Sometimes there's just not any time to take your time to get into a good mood again. But if you can, become calm inside, because then we make good decisions. And I say that quite easily, but of course it sometimes it's just difficult. So even when I tell myself, yeah, but I'm stressed out now, but I need to be calm to make a good decision. So I have to become calm now inside. And that also stresses me out. But yeah, earlier when we started the call, before we started the show, I also had that cloudy mind and I couldn't think clearly. And I thought, how am I going to make this show? How am I going to say anything with this cloudy mind? But then I just kept talking to you, and then suddenly something was unblocking me, and I felt good again. And then suddenly I had something to say. Suddenly I was open again so that the words could just come out. And I'm really, really happy and glad about this. So yeah, sometimes you just need to talk to a good friend, and then with the help of a good friend, even if the friend doesn't do much, you can unblock something. Well, sometimes you might not have a good friend around at the time that you need one, especially in times of crisis and panic. Maybe it's a bit more difficult to find a friend who is calm, and maybe you have to be the friend who stays calm. And then I think we can just take a minute or more and look inside and connect to the divine, to what I call Om, and pray or meditate, and and let the divine guide us. And that's what I am going to try. Now that you inspired me to do that again, Prism. It's not that I don't know it, but sometimes we just need a little reminder by others, or a little, hey, look at this direction, just a short second, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to try to do this and and connect myself. Before this call, I already had a meditation, which was really relaxing. So that changed a lot. Yeah, but I'm glad that we have the show and that we can share our thoughts with the audience and with other people who may think alike or who still have some joy listen to us even if they think in a different way. So thank you for that.
My honor, Evie. You are so welcome. We have kind of hit that level of telepathy. I love it. I love it. Because the next little bit I was going to talk about in relation to the story was all about the experience that we have with how do we feel depending on what kind of vibrational being we're around. So if a friend has a negative outlook or a positive outlook, and how it can impact us, how very, very important it is for us to surround ourselves and even be temporarily willing to eliminate, seems a bit harsh, but it is correct, remove people from our lives that insist on staying in a negative space. Because as in the story, they are creating negative vibrations in the body. They're lowering their immune systems. They're getting sick simply because they're telling themselves that they're going to get sick. And they are increasing their negativity levels and dropping their vibrations. So their immune systems are compromised, even if they don't realize it. When we go into fear, we compromise our immune system. And so, yeah, I love that you shared that with me about how you were feeling. And I was noticing how much your vibration had shifted, and I wanted to ask you so bad before you told me, like, how do you feel now? And it's kind of a little bit of a joke, right? When we're thinking the same things. It doesn't really work that way, where we simply know how the other is feeling before we even ask. So it's almost more of like a little joke or a little game to ask, because we can feel it vibrationally. But I'm so grateful you shared all of that with me. And I love how there is this level of honesty, and we're not afraid to be ourselves on these calls. Like, we're really able to sink into the meat of what we are feeling, whether it's based on something that you say or something I say. We're able to kind of get in there a little bit deeper and bring out the true feeling, the true emotion. And I feel that's so important for the audience connecting to us, whether it's the male or female or even child audience. We never know who might be feeling exactly the same way or have attracted this this confirmation into their lives through what we're doing right now with your program. And I'm really honored and grateful that we are here doing this. And I can't wait for your next question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honored too. It's nice. Well, nice is a bit what would be the word? An understatement. But I think especially in Germany, we have this word nice now that we say all the time. So, I mean, the English word, right? So in Germany, more and more we introduced more English words so that we talk a random German sentence and then just put an English word into it. And that's kind of like hip, like 20 years ago, it probably was the word cool. And now it's nice. So, which is, I don't know if I can explain it to an English native speaker. Oh, maybe. So, if we would talk and then sometimes I would just answer with très bien, that is très bien. So très bien is French and means very nice. So that is kind of weird, but it's also interesting. I think.
Well, you know how interesting this actually is, because I was talking to you about telepathy 2 seconds ago. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine.
And I was thinking, as you were talking about the German language inserting English words as being kind of hip or cool or nice, whatever. I couldn't resist. And I was thinking, oh, we do that with French words quite a bit with the English language, like here in Canada. And then all of a sudden, there you go. There you go. And you bring up the French word, and I'm like, no way. Anyways, it was super awesome.
Yeah, which is weird. I could have just said a German word, but for some reason I wanted to put in a French word. I don't know why.
I guess we are I guess we are teaching the collective about telepathy in this show, because you and I have not. I don't think we've had one yet. Out of this will be number 3, right? Yeah. I don't think we've had one yet where we haven't had some kind of crazy telepathy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the word telepathy would mean that I'm actually aware that you're talking to me on a mental level or on whatever level. So right now, I would call it a connection.
Yeah, I guess I would call it a telepathic action. It's like the silent collective stream, right? We're streaming the same thoughts, same feelings, same emotions between us. And then when we speak them, we realize that we're both on the same stream. So that's what I think of as, the telepathic connection. But
yeah,
totally, yeah, we're on the same page. We're just saying different words.
Yeah. I think there was something else I wanted to say earlier, but I'm not sure what. Sometimes I really need to write down things, but well, now that we are trying out the subtitles here, which are pretty funny to watch, I thought, I don't need to write anything down because I can just scroll up, but sometimes it screws up the words. It's a bit like autocorrect on the phone when you try to type something and it comes out pretty weird.
Would you like to talk a little bit more about the Om?
I can. Mm, is there a specific question?
Um, I'm thinking that because it hasn't really been explained, that it would benefit the audience to hear some perspectives on it, maybe, or even an explanation on what it is.
So when I say Om, I mean the vibration of the source. That's probably how others would put it. It's also the divine father, mother. And father, mother is kind of a word that I sometimes use because in the end, the source, of course, has no gender. If we pray to our Holy Father, it still arrives. So, I mean, it can be a sensitive topic, but in the end, it's about your intention. Where does your attention send your prayers to, you know? And I started calling this holy source Om since Adayus told us that's the vibration. So in that way, that's basically the name, but it's also what we are used to call our Holy Father here. But in the end, there's still no gender. So it would be a parent, the Holy Parent, if you will. That's actually an interesting term to use. I never thought about that yet.
I can see that the um, the Om is such an interesting vibration. Because it's the vowel sounds all spoken together, and the resonance of those, and then it's not even really that the M is pronounced. It's really unique, and if we do that, or rather when we do that directly from the core of our being, like I can feel my bones vibrating. It's so powerful. I don't know if you've had the same experiences, but for me, that Om connection is it's father, mother, source. You know, that father, mother, and then ourselves. You know, the three of us together making that vibration. So the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and the combination of the two. It's so very, very beautiful. There's a gentleman, I can never remember his last name, but he has Melchizedek in his name, and he's just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And he explained it in a wonderful way, which was, first of all, you talk to Mother. So you talk to Gaia, the earth, and you feel the love flowing between you and Mother. And you connect with that love, and you feel it flowing between you and Mother. And then you feel the connection between you and Father. So you allow yourself then to go up and connect with Father and feel the love between you and Father. And these connections are made individually in the heart. And then being able to feel the connection between Mother and Father, not really connected to you, but just feeling that love flowing between Mother and Father, Gaia and the universe, if you will, the sky, the stars, the planets, what's above us. And then to take that mother-father love and connect it so that now you've got the connection with mother, which is separate. You've got the connection with father, which is separate. You've got the connection between mother and father, which is separate. But then you allow all of those connections to come together and allow that Om to be created. And that being the true source energy, the true creative energy, God energy, love energy, sovereign energy. And I thought that was such a beautiful description of a way to connect with our Om, our I am source vibration.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when Arius mentioned that. But yeah, so I remember that when I grew up, and still until today, I've always had a strong, deep connection to Christ. And I mean, in between, I went through many religions, so I still had Christ in my heart, like always. But on the other hand, I still wanted to find the truth. You know, I wanted to see, is there any religion or philosophy that actually shows me truth? And I learned a lot. So it brought me more tolerance for other people and their paths. And I learned to understand different religions or philosophies better. And I think that would be one message of Christ, that like you can find him and you can find Om on many different paths. So don't judge about others. And it might sound, I mean, it's one of those things that is easily said. But when I say those things, I always try to remind myself. So it's not that I say it out of a state where I say, yeah, I know it all and I don't have to walk that path anymore. I have arrived. I haven't, because apparently I'm still here. I haven't ascended yet. And there's still so much to learn. But all I can say is you can find him everywhere if you just look and search for him. And then, I mean, I know many people that don't believe in him, or they may say, yeah, so maybe he existed, but probably he was just a normal man. And other spiritual people say, yeah, he probably existed, but he was just a teacher. And I had to search for the answer for that within myself. So I cannot judge anyone or telling them, no, but it's this and this way. Because sometimes it makes me a bit sad that people lost their belief in Christ or Om. But on the other hand, how shall they know? There's so much deception in this world. It's everywhere, and it's so hard to find the truth. And I say you will just not find the truth outside. You have to find it inside and keep searching. Because if you keep searching, the truth will come up again and again. But if you stop searching in your heart, then you might get stuck on your path. And then you stop to learn, and and to grow. And talking about Christ, it reminds me to also talk about someone else who openly talks about his belief in Christ. And I talk about a singer from Germany who is very famous there and who's incredibly brave and has a very huge heart. And some people see that, but some people believe what mainstream media tells them about him. They say he's right wing, he is racist, he's homophobe, and all of that, as far as I know him, he's not at all. But he goes to people that other people with different opinions would not go to. So he goes to people that have a different opinion than him to listen to them, to see how are these people? What exactly are they saying? And he just wants to listen to them. He has an open mind and an open heart. And people nowadays don't understand that. I mean, can you blame them? Everything is so full of manipulation and deception. But I think everyone and humans have to find the connection to their heart again and to a deeper level in their heart. And it makes me a bit sad to see what's happening and that people really can believe what is being said about this person, because I'm pretty sure it's not true. But what he says is I follow Christ. I do what Christ did. I go to the people that others hate just to listen to them and to include them for a little while. And that doesn't mean that he likes what they're doing or that he shares the same opinion. And then I'm here and think I share so much. So how can I say? I have very similar thoughts and a very similar mindset, like this guy. If people are against him, that would mean they wouldn't like me either. But people who know me and know my heart and my open mind, they actually like me because of that. And then I'm thinking, okay, either they are open and consider the fact that I might be right about this, or they might decide to not like me anymore or to be against me, but I haven't really changed, you know. So I think a lot about these things in the past days because it's happening at the moment. It's been happening for years with this famous musician, because he says the truth about some very dark things that are going on in this world. And he also speaks his mind about politicians, and he's still a good guy, you know. So yeah, that was a long talk about about this one topic, but it's just on my mind a lot, because usually I avoid conflicts. I still stand up for my opinion and for what I think is important, but try to do it in a way that is really peaceful, and I try to foresee the outcome. So I always try to find the right words, but with this specific topic, I knew I would trigger some people or some people's thoughts. And it might happen that I will lose some friends that I had or have. But I made the decision. So I thought about, okay, shall I post this or not? Because this will trigger people. Although I chose very peaceful words, and I still want to be in peace with everyone. Yeah, I still knew that this will trigger people, and maybe I will lose friends, but I'm open. So whenever they come back, whenever they come back, I will be open for them, because I had to stand up for this musician. I had to stand up and defend someone who, to me, obviously follows Christ, and not in a way that is being told to do, and more in a way that Christ acts through his heart. And I only say Christ is my idol, and I try to be like him or become like him, so that I can give love, even to people that I would think they don't deserve it, because in the end, we're still all from one source.
Right. We are all aspects of each other. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The energy that we came from, that we were birthed from, the white and the black, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the light and the dark, it's all so unified together to be that one energy that we call source. And yet it's so, and yet within that all things exist. So to lock it down and say Christ, as though that could all be fit into one being, I feel that's more what religion does. And I do feel the Om more, that because to me that's where all of those energies connect and come together, and then we see them as the one source energy, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and sovereignty within our own being, because we are that. We are mother, father, and that is what makes us. So the example of Christ is so beautiful. That example of love consciousness, sovereign consciousness, like the one being as all beings and all beings as one being, is so magnificent within love. And there's so many different ways to express it, Evie, so many. Your connection, the musician, and the way that he chooses to express his need for experience is beautiful. And that is truly what will bring more joy than any amount of friends. I believe, I don't like to use the word believe, sorry, I trust that whenever someone drops out of my vibration, and whenever somebody is aggressive toward me or negative toward me, or a hater, I guess, in online terms. To me, it simply is an indication that my vibration has gone up. It's either gone up or dropped down, or that person would not be attacking me, because when two people are exactly alike, they seldom attack each other. They are kind of there with each other. But the second that one drops down lower or starts to grow, that's when all of the judgment creeps in. I think with religion, be it Christianity or whatever it is that um, someone chooses to be a part of, as long as everything is love centered and love based, and that intention to be within the risk consciousness is set, that we are doing all we can to continue to rise within that. And I see that as being the best that any of us can ever do. If someone fades out of our lives, then that's okay. They weren't open-minded, or they weren't open-hearted enough to grow in their own experiences at that level yet. And all we ever do is, all we ever really can do within love is wish others to have their own sovereignty, to have their own self-love, and to have their own growth experiences so that they can also rise within their Christ consciousness as well. I know that will rub some people the wrong way, but I don't believe that's my responsibility. We all awaken at different times, and we all have our different experiences for our different reasons. And I bless and send bliss, rather, to all within the experience that they are in. The judgment is the saddest thing, for sure. I believe that. I mean, I trust that the judgment is truly the separation, the competition, the attacking within all aspects. And if we can let that go, then we can go into a place where we are in harmony with Source and attract all that is within harmony within Source to us. And I trust that the audience that's here with us can feel this vibration like you can, that this is not a vibration of judgment or expectation, that these are safe energies. These are safe Chris consciousness energies, where we can all let those burdens go and find out for ourselves exactly what that means to us as individuals, and then simply respect that within our other aspects within each other. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, that totally made sense. So I think we're coming to the end of the show. And again, one of these shows where I just could talk on 4 hours with you, but we will just have to do another show, and it will be my pleasure. So I'm already looking forward to our next show and to your own show. And then, yeah, I hope our audience enjoyed this show as much as I did. I hope our audience has a bit more faith now, or a bit more positive vibes in them, and that we could help everyone. I helped myself. I hope I helped you. You helped me, that I can say for sure. And I wish everyone a wonderful day or night, wherever they are. And maybe you want to say some goodbye words as well.
I would be honored to. Thank you so much, Evie. This was an absolute pleasure, as always. And yes, I know we're being triggered by extremely high vibrations and people playing catch up with all of the beautiful love and light that is coming into the planet right now. And I'm sending a huge love blanket out to everyone and yourself. And so much gratitude for the opportunity to be here. I can't wait for our next show. I love Ascension Radio and Studio 3.
Wonderful. Have a good night, everyone. See you next time on Ascension Radio, Studio 3.
Thank you for listening to Colors of the Universe here at Studio 3 on Ascension Radio. If you enjoy what we're doing, please send a donation via the PayPal button on radio.mpeg.org. Find more amazing content and updates on our Facebook page. And now, just be your colorful self and enjoy your day.